Things up. Good to have the extra time. Today's Thursday, and we'll have another Thursday tomorrow. I think the players are anxious to play again after having some time off, and we're excited for I think what will be a very entertaining game, and a place that I think we'll be rocking as we go in there. It'll be a good test for us.
Could you do what you're doing with TJ McDonald with anyone, or does he have a unique skill set that enables him to play both the back end of the defense and the front end?
I think it is unique. We did some similar things with Eric Berry a few years ago in our 1 year with him, and it really kind of came from watching TJ blocking kicks and how well he rushed and would beat people in protections, and so just kind of what if we put that type of speed, and we were when this came up, our defensive ends had been beaten up like they still are, and so it allows us to get some reps there with some speed, and obviously he can drop too and do all the things in coverage as well.
Was there any one particular coach who came up with the idea, or was it a group?
I think the defensive staff.
They struggled with their running game last game. Is it formidable, or has it been a struggle for them?
Well, I think they're replacing a lot of linemen. I think White wasn't healthy, and so we anticipate them being full strength after having some extra time, just like we have, and I'm sure he'll be healthy and ready to go. And they'll be at home instead on the road too.
How does it look like they've acclimated to the Pac-12 coming from the Mountain West?
Well, I think they've done well. I think that that's talked about too much. You change conferences and what that means, and they had a game. I'm sure they felt like they should have won a non-conference game. It had nothing to do with what conference they were in. So I don't really take very much to that, especially early in the year. If there is anything to it, it would be a conversation for late in the year when you've had more competitive, more physical games. As you get to your 8th, 9th conference game of the year.
The additions of Utah and Colorado enabled this conference to have a conference championship game. How, coming from the SEC where they had one, and just looking at sort of the big picture, how does that help? How big of a thing is that?
Well, I think it's big for TV contract. I'm sure you're adding a game on a national stage, and already put it on a Friday, and try to get a different time frame. So I think from that standpoint, that's really the big part about it. I don't know that coaches are that excited about it. And there was something to winning your conference before, and we're unique because we're playing 9 conference games. Where other people don't do that. So I don't know that coaches love it, but I know that it's good for the conference and it's good for the TV contract.
Do you like the fact that if you are in the mix there at the end of the year, it conceivably gives you another game to kind of move up or hold your spot?
Not really, because it can go the other way, and with it not being a neutral site, you're gonna, some year it's gonna come down to where 2 teams are really highly ranked, and maybe have not played each other. And all of a sudden it's going to be decided, off of just this slightest margin of where that game is, and on a short week's rest, that's going to have a lot of factor to do with who wins the game. So it's not a perfect system.
How's their quarterback looked after Wynn went down?
I thought he's throwing the ball well. I thought there's a couple of times he could have helped him out by making some plays outside. But I think anytime he's from an opponent standpoint, you like when you see a backup that you're getting ready to play, but when you watch him, he's not really a backup, and he played a lot last year. I think 6-3 maybe as a starter, so he's played a lot of ball.
Doesn't seem like we've talked much about Nikhil Roby this year. Maybe that's good. Maybe they're just not throwing his way. How do you think he's played?
Well, I think he's played great. They just don't throw at him, and you're seeing with him a little bit of like Robert. If they take something away or don't give you opportunity, it's hard to get numbers, and so we need to play better at the other spot and then force them to have to throw the ball to him. Because right now nobody's throwing it at him.
What about Lamar Dawson? How has that changed you guys since he's been back?
Well, I think we played our best game on defense last week. A lot to do with him. I think he's had 19 tackles now in the last 2 weeks, and has played really well. And he's playing physical, and he's finally getting comfortable. He's just in his 2nd year. And he's been hurt in both seasons and missed time. So, it's almost like he's kind of now had 1 full season in games. So we're really excited about his development, the way he's played the last 2 weeks.
He's not a guy that pops off the television screen with interceptions and stuff like that. But as a coaching staff, when you guys are watching it on tape, is he a large presence?
He is. He has been of late, and he's going to continue to be. And as you get more comfortable, you go to make those plays. The longer you play, you get more confidence. You go to make plays instead of just making tackles, and he'll get there. Like I said, he's still learning a lot.
You just mentioned that second corner spot. What needs to improve there?
Oh, we need to cover better. We need to tackle better, and then make a play when the play's there. So there's no secret we haven't played well there. We haven't played there well all year, and it's unfortunate for Nikel because to watch the film, the ball goes the other way all the time. So we're working on it.
Do you feel like you have the talent here to play that position well?
Yeah, I do. We just got to be more consistent. We can't miss the tackles, and we can't impress coverage. We can't let the guy off the line of scrimmage so quick. And, it could have been worse. They've missed a couple over the last couple of weeks in their spot. So it's definitely it's been changing our game because we're doing a lot of things really well, stopping the run for the most part, playing better pass defense from our safeties in our other corner.
Do you think that still has to do with Torrin Harris being rusty because he missed camp? And do you think he'll come around?
I do. Torrin's missed a lot of time, and we probably played Torrin too much right away. Once you go back to that Syracuse game, maybe not played 70 snaps or something. We can't do that because he'd been out for so long. So I think that this bye has been good for him. He's got some extra conditioning in, and I think he'll continue to improve.
You mentioned a couple times how the teams are playing defenses that you had not prepared for or seen. In the game, what kind of a challenge does that present to you as a play caller?
Well, it's a guessing game going into it, and these guys are like that. These guys in our game in the first quarter last year played completely different coverage than they did for the rest of the year, and then they have to be this year. So we don't know, are they going to do that again, or are they going to play what they do against everybody else? And so you just got to be ready. It's almost like having a separate section on your call sheet. When they do this is what we're going to go to. And this is what we think they're going to do. But if they do this, then we go to this. The easy part is if they play normal defense. Then we just go back and run our normal offense. The harder part is when they do unique things they haven't done. To take away those guys.
Could you do that with a young quarterback, or is it easier to do it because you have Matt who has all the experience?
Yeah, it's easier to do it with Matt, but it's not as big a deal because, like I said, the easy part is if they play normal. The other part is the harder part is when they play the other stuff. And a lot of times that comes back to just running the ball.
Is there any other position on the defense that you think needs to step up for you guys to improve? You mentioned second.
No, I think in general, the safeties are playing really well. The three linebackers, especially the last two games, have played great. The defensive lines come along. We need more depth at the defensive line, especially with the backup defensive ends. We need to be able to get more production out of them. But really, it's that other corner spot and two corner spots when you count playing nickel.
Is the safety position an example of how you guys have been better at rotating players in and out this year? You said you wanted to focus on that this season.
Yeah, we've got Drew in there some. We put three safeties in it sometimes. Demetrius has played. So it's been really good for us, and I think it's helped us on special teams.